James, I understand you want to kick us off first. Who's your first nominee for Loathe Island?
OK, and I think it would be a really good asset to Loathe Island to have the lovely Carol Vorderman there. Now, I've known Carol for years and years.
Decades, probably.
I better be very careful. Yes. You know, I met her first at Yorkshire Television in the days of Countdown. But
she's been around a long time.
Yeah. She has changed quite dramatically.
She really has.
I don't know whether she's hoping to become a politician in the future. She may do.
Yeah.
But some of her outbursts have been so ridiculous.
So vitriolic.
Nasty and horrible and spiteful.
Right. She hates the Tories.
Yeah. She does with a vengeance.
Like, really hates them.
Yeah, I know. And I wonder why. And I keep thinking of calling her and saying, would you like to come and meet a couple of Tory MPs? And I haven't quite got the nerve to do it yet.
But don't worry, because she's met plenty of Tory MPs, because she's done work with Tory MPs.
Yeah.
In fact, you might remember when she was very much involved with the David Cameron government, when she was pushing some kind of educational thing.
Yeah.
And so she's very happy to hang around with Tory MPs when it suits her.
But
just not anymore.
Though, they didn't give her a peerage, and Labour, it's alleged that they perhaps are looking
are they buttering
into
up for that? Interesting.
So I think
Maybe.
that she's doing a lot of work for
I'm told it's because she fell out in quite a bad way with Michelle Mone, because it all started when she fell out with Michelle Mone, who used to be her friend, and at whose place she used to stay, apparently, when she was in London.
When she gets on to Loathe Island with people like Jeremy Corbyn and others, she will probably learn the error of her ways. But she's quite good at winding people up.
Yes.
And I think that would be great for the island. So I'd like to see Carol there. I'm slightly concerned about what she's going to do to continue to keep herself looking the way she does, because I don't suppose there are those sort of places on the island, are there?
Well, there probably can be found, I dare say. I mean, there's plenty of secluded spots, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Also, she's been known to do a bit of high kicking in the kitchen. She's done videos of herself, hasn't she?
I'd only just forgotten about that.
There's plenty of places where she could do a bit of that. You know, hanging around, one hand on the palm tree, just keep your legs going up and down.
She'll look great in a bikini as well.
I imagine she would. Yeah. I'm not sure if clothing is available in terms of what you can wear.
They're going on there naked?
They're not. I'm not saying that. It's a good idea, though. It's a good idea. We haven't thought about that. I don't know if there's a wardrobe supply, though. So they might just have to... Might be a bit like Robinson Crusoe. They have to kind of fashion their clothes from whatever they can find on the island.
This is turning into a really dodgy island.
It is. You don't want to go there. I mean,
Carol, of course, will tweet all sorts of horrible things about me out.
Yes.
Because I've suggested that she should go there.
She's not going to like you now.
I think she needs a break from publicity.
I think she needs to take some time off social media, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And just chill out. And maybe go to a nice Caribbean island or something and just take herself out of the
I want her in there.
Because it's kind of relentless. It's like,
front and centre.
Breaking news, more terrible news about the Tories.
It's always shouting. It's like, and her, when she calls, she's like, election now. It's like, no, Carol, we're not, the government isn't looking at your tweets and thinking, we're going to do exactly what Carol Vorderman says. That
it is true.
I tell you the funniest thing. I wouldn't be Sun Life who are still using her as an advertisement, aren't they?
I don't know if they are, but I'll take your word for it if they are. Who's yours?
Mine is Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn. They make a lovely couple.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if she likes all of this lefty stuff that she puts out, then I think that she gets what she's given, and she's going to be given Jeremy Corbyn.
She seems to be quite closely wedded to the sort of Keir Starmer brigade, so maybe she's supposed to hate Jeremy Corbyn as well, because he's the wrong kind of Labour MP.
Yeah, but if Corbyn offers that peerage and they do a deal on the island, then perhaps she's going to change.
Yes.
Anyway, I honestly sick to death of Carol and Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn, he needs to shut up.
Yeah, I mean, he's speaking. I feel like he speaks more in the House of Commons now as this independent MP than he ever did before.
And he tweets constantly about Gaza, doesn't he?
Yes.
Constantly.
Yeah, him and George Galloway just constantly talking about Gaza.
Although, isn't it interesting that when George Galloway turned up to be sworn in as an MP, his best and oldest friend in Parliament, Jeremy Corbyn, apparently suddenly found that he had a previous engagement, which stops him from helping him out.
Shocking.
I know. Well, if I'd been George Galloway, I'd been like, hang on a second. What do you mean a previous engagement? I told you I was going to win the election, and now you can't help me. But anyway, there we are. Jeremy Corbyn, a very good addition, I think. James, your next one, going back into history.
Well, I figure, because last time I was on your programme, Plank, we had a bit of an argument about religion and everything else.
That's true.
And I thought the head of the Church of England, as far as I'm concerned, Henry VIII, because that's when it
I thought
started.
it was Archbishop Wokeby. Is he not in charge then?
Well, I think he is now, but nobody really listens to him, do they? But I thought having somebody a bit dynamic, as long as it's before he had syphilis, it would be better.
Well, perhaps he wouldn't want to bring syphilis to the island,
no,
would he?
because
Carol Vorderman doesn't want syphilis. That's for sure.
I disassociate myself from that completely.
This is all an imaginary conversation.
Oh, is it not going to happen?
Well, not really.
Gosh.
Henry VIII's dead for a start.
You can do anything for TV, re-erect him.
She's good for that.
Yeah, but I think Henry VIII will make a great person on Loathe Island.
What are you doing? I'm giving him the kiss of life. Well done.
People he doesn't like, the heads will be lopped off.
That's good, yeah.
And
set up Execution Square.
Exactly, exactly. And he'd obviously take control.
Yes.
And imagine him, because he must have been in his day a staunch right winger.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Imagine Henry VIII and Jeremy Corbyn sitting around the campfire.
Yes.
Or just sitting over there at that table.
By
him and Carol going at it.
Yeah,
that sounds.
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
Yeah, we've already passed that one over.
Please. Really?
It's just what you need as the sun's going down. That banging noise.
Isn't Carol Vorderman older than Henry VIII?
Probably now, yeah, almost certainly. He died younger than she is now aged.
I think so.
She likes a toy boy, so this is.
Yeah, very true. He was quite a short man, I think, wasn't he?
He was very short and fairly plump.
And stocky.
Yeah.
But he had gout as well.
And what?
So would you have him before he had gout?
Yeah. He had a lot of problems because they had to go everywhere on a horse. And imagine how you'd feel now.
Yeah.
I think he'd be great on there for his stories about killing off his wife.
He'd also be good for hunting, for food.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If you had to do any of that.
But he'd probably eat it all.
Well, he might, but I mean, he'd be good at going off and finding, some beasts to bring back to the dinner table, because that's what they did in those days.
He probably is very used to being in charge.
Yes, I would think so.
He'd put Jeremy Corbyn in charge of something.
Don't forget, he's got Tony Blair there as well.
He's got Tony Blair there too.
Tony Blair, yeah. And Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan's there, yeah.
You've got the Labour Party.
This is the best reality show you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll beat Big Brother hands down.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Right, Amanda, who's your next one?
I'm going something a little bit controversial, perhaps, but Michael Jackson.
The gloved one.
I am. How long have you been thinking of that one?
It just came
that was
to me.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
I think
nobody calls him that anymore.
No.
He used to be known as the gloved one.
Well, let's bring him back from the dead and that nickname.
Glove Island.
In the Henry VIII.
One of those gloves you're wearing. Never mind. Get back to giving Henry VIII the kiss of life.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really odd mix and match.
Yeah.
But I do think with Michael Jackson, I think obviously there's a lot of things that came out in that Neverland documentary, Finding Neverland. And it's about allegations towards him and inappropriate behaviour with children, and not to bring the tone down, because this is we want to make sure that it's a family show and we're trying to have a laugh. I just think it's more about I'm focusing more on his music and the fact that I just didn't get him. I thought that he was a bit overrated, and that was really bad to say. I know.
Amanda.
Wow.
I know. And
Amanda, you
I think the one thing
that.
you can't criticise is his music.
No, I actually don't like it.
No.
Oh my God, that's really bad, isn't it? I'm going to be cancelled.
I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of
times.
Did you? Yeah.
In what phase of his sort of life was
I
that?
was quite famous when Uri Geller decided to have.
Geller was a big mate of his, wasn't he?
Had decided to renew his wedding vows, and he invited Michael Jackson to be the best man.
Right.
And unlike other weddings where the bride or the groom turn up late, Mr. Jackson turned up 2.5 hours late for it, but he was very charming and everything else. And then I met him.
Was this in his time when he was wearing that sort of military regalia and all that sort of gear?
Yeah, it was sort of. No, it was
sort of 80s?
It was a sort of 90s. It
90s?
Was, sort of late 90s, I think.
So he'd be quite white by then, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a very strange-looking guy, and his fingernails looked as if they were about to fall off. I have to say, I met him again at Exeter when he came along to launch Exeter Football Club.
Oh yeah,
and I was asked would I do an interview with him on stage and have a chat to him for all the people sitting in the football ground.
Is that something to do with Al Fayed? Exeter?
No, that was to do with Uri Geller again, who at that time had, I think, major shareholding in Exeter United, but it's a long time ago.
Right.
And what I felt about him, I liked his music. I still like his music. I felt he was a very, very sad and lonely individual.
Figure, yeah.
And I thought we all know the stories about him and kids and everything else, but it was like interviewing a child.
Yeah.
He was, I'm sure at one point he was quite tough business-wise, but he was just very like that. Whispered his...
But he never had a real proper childhood.
No, not at all.
And then everything that he did to his appearance.
Yeah.
He just ended up looking so strange.
He did look very weird.
I think if he was kind of around now, I think we look back on him in a different way, but if he was around now, I just think get him on that island.
Yeah, no, I think on the island is a good place for him.
Well, I think Carol Vorderman and he will have very good hints and tips on makeup.
Well, listen, I could help anybody out in that department. I'm a bit worried about your next nomination, James, however, because this is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons, this one.
Well, you accused me once of loving the royal family, and I like the royal family. I think... Are you going to listen?
I am listening, but I'm laughing in anticipation of what you're about to say.
Okay. I like the idea that we have a royal family. I like the idea that our king and queen are pretty good, and the next king and queen, if they go on to become the next king and queen, are pretty good too. But there's one thing that lets the royal family down, and that's this frigging Prince Andrew. I detest the guy.
Yeah.
I've never met him. So
he hasn't got many good points, has he?
He walks around like everything under his nose is dirt.
Right.
He looks, even when he's not speaking, as if he's condescending. And I just do not understand why he's still there. I know in that recent story, it was a family do. I understand that. But he's still wanting to be part of the royal family.
Oh, yeah.
And the way he has conducted himself, the interviews and everything else, I'm not suggesting anything that's been suggested about him is true. I don't know. Nobody's ever found out.
He had some strange friends, though. Let's put it
very, very strange friends that he hung out with. And I just think it will be better off for this country and our royal family if we stuck him on Loathe Island.
Yeah. I wonder how he'd get on with Mary I, who's also there.
Is she there too?
Mary I is also there. And Liz Truss.
Oh,
that could
my
be an interesting one.
Well, I mean, Henry VIII might be there first.
Yeah, very much so. Henry I, even.
I think that Prince Andrew will do great on the island because if you think about it, he doesn't sweat.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what temperature it is.
Him and Michael
fine.
Jackson have a blast together.
I've seen him.
Carol Vorderman's a bit old for him, though, isn't she?
Well,
anyway.
she and he might get on quite well, actually.
They might.
Know. Yeah.
Amanda, your final nominee?
I'm going for Kanye West.
Yes. I like
because this is a real fall from grace. I mean, he has just gone very wild.
He's the one that walks around there with his face completely covered, right?
Yeah, he's gone through that phase. But at the moment, I think he's kind of showing it.
Who
I actually should have corrected this
because
he'll probably sue me. He's actually called Ye West now. It's not Kanye.
Oh, Ye. He's taken the Khan out.
Yes, the Khan is gone.
Well, Sadiq Khan is there as well, so that's fine. He doesn't need two Khans. Don't
exactly.
make
We've
it
got
wrong.
Ye and Kanye. Kanye.
Khan,
so,
Ye.
So yeah, I think with everything recently, the anti-Semitism, him just going wild about. I think he's basically had a breakdown since being in the Kardashian family.
Right.
What I don't like recently is how much he hits out at poor Kim. She's just trying to get on with it. She wants to separate herself. They've been split up for years, divorced. Okay, they've got children
He's
together.
very wealthy as well,
But he'll
isn't he?
just they're both fine. I mean, he's lost millions and millions because of everything he's been saying.
Did he not
lately.
run for president last time around as well?
Did try that, yeah.
And that didn't work out so well.
No.
Got no votes at all.
Sadly not.
See, I hated his music. I didn't think it was
obviously,
very
I'm not a
music.
fan of Kanye West.
You know.
I think he needs to be on that island and maybe have a bit of time to write again.
Maybe Michael Jackson could help him out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, do you like Kanye West music?
Obviously.
See?
Yeah.
You do?
Not until...
Might be
not
our
now
age.
recently.
Could be an age
An
thing.
think it's
thing,
a
couldn't
age.
it? Yeah.
But not now. I actually wouldn't support it now.
Yeah.
Because of everything. I'm like ending it now.
You can hang out with Ted Heath. You imagine Ted Heath and Kanye West doing a bit of a rap together.
I think he's very, very... I think he's feeling very upset that he's no longer as famous as
Nobody
he thought
cares
he used
about
to
him,
be.
what he
No,
does
couldn't
anymore.
give a
No,
monkeys.
he's absolutely heartbroken about losing Kim Kardashian, let's be honest. I don't know
wouldn't
if you're
recognise
into this, but he's absolutely heartbroken about it.
He's one of
married
these guys
someone...
that wanders about with his face covered.
He
most of
married
the
someone
time.
a few weeks after meeting them who looks identical to Kim.
Right.
It's really, really
Is this the
odd.
new girlfriend that
The
he
new
keeps
wife,
dressing?
yeah.
He keeps taking her out where she's practically naked.
She's just
What's all
wearing
that
absolutely
about?
nothing.
Yeah. He's obviously got some kind of control over her.
Yeah, it's
How
really
old is he?
scary.
Must be 50, is he? 50?
I don't think, no.
Is that too old?
Late 40s, but
40s?
maybe, yeah, 40s.
Well, these are great nominees. I tell you what, I mean, we've now got what can only be described as the first dozen people, and I'll just recount the names for you, right? So we've got this week, Carol Vorderman, Jeremy Corbyn, Henry VIII, Michael Jackson, Prince Andrew, Kanye West. Add that into the previous 6, which is Tony Blair, Angela Merkel, Sadiq Khan, Mary I, Liz Truss, and Ted Heath. I want a 24/7 camera on this.
Oh, this would be the best
This is going to be the greatest reality show ever.
Why could the producers of Big Brother not come up with a decent cast like that?
Maybe this is the future, though, because we could make them all into AI characters, couldn't we? And just put them all in somewhere and just watch what happens.
I wonder what Henry VIII sounded like.
I suspect he had a slight sort of West Country. I think he had a slight West Country lilt. It'd be really tragic if he had a high voice, wouldn't it?
Oh no, that would be so
terrible.
unattractive. That would give me the ick.
Yeah.
See, we'll never know what people in history sounded like. We can find out sometimes what they looked like.
Yes.
But we'll never know what
very
they
good
looked like.
Interesting.
In the future, we'll know how everybody sounded.
Yeah, it's very true. Very good point.
For good or bad.
Well, listen, both of you, that was brilliant. James Whale and Amanda Devlin. That was Loathe Island for this week. We'll have another one next week, another 6 nominations. It's going well.
Pack your bags, it's time for Loathe Island.